Welcome back to What She Says Sports, everybody. All right. So if you were rocking out with us earlier today, we were talking about um Shador, Shiloh, and just in general the updates on the Buffs. So I told y'all earlier that we would talk about Colorado tonight. Y'all know Randy Moss was at CU. Kaidon Salter, a dog, got his stats from his what I call near perfect season. Went to the conference, the CUSA championship, and they went 13-1. So, and then Travis Hunter. All right. So Travis Hunter and Leanna, apparently, I know that's what y'all want to get to. Travis Hunter and Leanna had a baby, right? And it's not a surprise that they kept it secret. What I said a few days ago was, why is Travis and Leanna getting all this hate? Why Travis getting so much hate? With people talking about a divorce, infidelity, all sorts of kind of things. And even what's his name? The guy that played for the Chicago Bulls. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He just, like I said, went off on Travis, basically like Dennis Rodman was asked, what would you do with your younger self or whatever? And he was like, not be Travis Hunter. And I was like, God, darn, like that hurt me. And I was just watching it, right? So I don't know what spurred on all of this, right? But they had a baby, and it's not a surprise that they kept it a secret. Again, they get attacks from all sides. And I said, I think just yesterday or day before, when you get married to somebody that the public feels it's not in your best interest because they've seen some disrespect. It's gonna be hard, especially with you being in the public eye. So y'all know they got married, came off the internet for the most part. And we speculated during the wedding. It looked like she was kind of expecting, but we didn't really see much about her. But they journaled it. They memorialized the baby's journey into a video called Dear Son. So first and foremost, congratulations on a happy baby boy. I knew they got a cat. I knew that because on TikTok, I saw a video pop up in my feed, and I'm not on TikTok a lot, that they had a cat. And I was like, oh, okay, but now it's a baby. And they just kind of kept it secret. So we're going to kind of get into the video. I think I sped it up a little bit, right? I have to talk through it so we can, have some commentary. I like to start the show with good news. So Travis Hunter, Leanna having a baby is the good news. That's the good news we starting the show with. So let's just go ahead and get into Dear Son, which I'm assuming the baby's going to be like Travis Hunter Jr. or something like that. So let's just kind of get into it, guys. And y'all can go to their social media and, wish them well. So this is Dear Son.
I'm going to give you one.
Wait, is it going?
Yeah, come on.
There's the baby.
That's their sonogram. So it looked like they would get ready for something, getting ready for their day. This is a sonogram. I can't tell you the dates. I don't know what time frame this is, but just pay attention, and it's sped up. So, open your listening ears. And we might run past it again, but this is Dear Son if you're just not joining us. This is the sonogram of the baby when they found out it's a boy. That's too cute. It's a boy.
This was my dream that I had in February. Today is
okay. So she had a dream. She's like me actually when it comes to chronicling. I use my notes for this type of thing. February 28th. So this was somewhere around the Heisman. Baby was a boy with lots and lots of curly hair. Okay. So February 28th, she had a dream about the baby.
March 26th.
Hold on.
In February. Today is March 26th.
Okay.
And this was the dream I had February 28th. I knew.
So this was March 26th that she's sharing that about a month earlier in February that they would have a baby boy with lots of curly hair.
It was going to be a boy. So cool.
We're about to leave for Green Bay.
So let's head it up to the draft.
We're going to find out where Daddy's going to be.
And when you're gonna grow up.
And where you're gonna be born.
Where you're gonna grow up and where you're gonna be born.
Your dad got drafted.
To the DAWG.
So this must be draft
means
day or
you're
something.
You're going to do girl, baby. See, and then you will come up and you're gonna be like me. You're gonna get drafted to Jacksonville.
I think it's beautiful they had a boy. I'm sure, you know, with him being an athlete, they wanted a son.
Where they gonna live? Do you have a message for the baby?
Gotta be done with me. See you later.
Say bye-bye. This is how big you are today.
So yeah, she didn't show much. Because if that's her full pregnant, she didn't get big at all. And this is the delivery.
Before you, yeah.
Labor and delivery. So I'm assuming it's Jacksonville, I guess. Heart rate. Just waiting. So you're not going to see this part.
Everything you got.
She's pushing. She's pushing.
Wide open.
And you can hear the baby.
That baby looks just like me. I'm sorry.
He's about the baby look just like me. I'm sorry. That's crazy. All right. So that's their baby. That's their baby story, right? Dear son, like I said, I think it's beautiful. They memorialized it. I think it's great they had a boy because, you know, Travis is an athlete, probably wants his son to be an athlete. They kept it secret. They kept it private, not secret. I'm sure their inner circle knew. This goes all the way back to look like sometime around when they were headed to the Heisman, 228. Don't know when the Heisman was, but before the draft and after the draft, the wedding. So they had a lot going on. Travis graduated, I think early March. So she said 326, the draft. So this was right after the draft. You know, so I understand why they kept it, you know, private. I didn't understand why all of the I guess the AI channels and a lot of people were making content videos. Maybe they knew it just kind of wanted to, I don't know, rain on their parade a little bit. But anyway, they had their first child. So, you know, they probably going to keep their life private. And I kind of think they're going to have to, because you know what's going to happen, right? Now that he had a kid, people going to be saying things. So it's just best to, you know, and I don't know when they had the kid. I just know that they shared it today. Doesn't mean they had the kid this weekend. They just kind of keeping everything private for obvious reasons. So, you know, just wanted to start something off with a good note. Also, Travis will be playing in their week 1 game, Panthers versus Jaguars. So if y'all are Jaguars fans, are planning on, you know, following Travis' career closely. People knew he was out and injured, and he is, he'll be back. So I was thinking, I said, wait a minute, maybe he wasn't really injured. Maybe they just gave him some time off with the new baby since it was preseason, and they kind of knew, you know, they knew he was going to make the team. I could see it, you know, because I don't know if they have paternity leave in the NFL. So I think, you know, that's what it is. Congratulations to Travis and Leanna on their healthy baby boy. So, all right. 73 of us hit the like button. All right. So we get ready to get into what we put together. Again, Kaidon Salter, I wanted to share. I tell people all the time, I said, Kaidon Salter is a dog. And for people to underestimate him, you know, I like to share some of his stats from his perfect season when he was with Liberty. Now, I know some people going to be like, yeah, that was a different conference. I mean, honestly, it don't matter what conference it was in, right? The point is for you to have, I think he went 13-1, and they only lost in the Fiesta Bowl. So to get that far, we want to get to a Big 12 championship, right? So he's been there. And I think they went undefeated all the way to the Big 12 championship, which is the 13th game. And the 14th game, you know, the only game they lost was the Fiesta Bowl. So this is Kaidon Salter's stats for people who like to know these things. He wears number 3 for CU. And people said he was comfortable with that, even though he used to wear number 7. He's not worried about it. This is his one and done at CU, right? So not a big deal. 2023 Conference USA, 13-1, 2876 passing yards, 32 touchdowns. That's huge, right? 32 touchdowns. And then they had 1089 rushing yards with 12 touchdowns. That's 1 year. That's 1 year. 44 touchdowns in 1 year. And what is it? 13 or 14 games. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So that's who Kaidon Salter is. I put this picture up here because I want y'all to see the look on his face. I told y'all, when you see somebody and you catch them on the camera looking like this, they not to be played with. They are not to be played with. This young man is hungry. He's a dog. And in fact, he has his mentor before he got to see you plays for the Green Bay Packers, Malik Willis. So he has a lot of insight given to him by Malik Willis. You know, Malik Willis' journey. He started out at Tennessee. They benched him for Will Levis. And, you know, then he got shipped off to Green Bay. And then they got him competing. He's paired up with Jordan Love. So he's in good hands in terms of the NFL. I know he didn't come into CU, you know, like, say, a quarterback that's been around for 2-3 years, right? So he didn't have a long time to spend with Shedeur. We know Shedeur and Juju have like a relationship. So Kaidon has Malik Willis, right? And y'all know I'm really big on these guys learning what the league is, right? Learning what it is. So he has a teacher in Malik Willis to kind of, you know, guide him through the process of getting to the next steps and what it's really going to be, right? You should always believe you're going to be the best, be a first round pick. But, you know, you got to be realistic about coming into the NFL, because not only look at what happened to the quarterback that was at CU before you, regardless of who it related to, look at Malik Willis' journey, and he don't even know Coach Prime, right? So shout out to Kaidon Salter. He going to be a dog for us. I just want people, you know, to make sure they know that this guy has been where we're trying to go, a perfect season, right? So I just wanted to share that there with y'all, you know, see what y'all saying about that later. Earlier today, I was asking for predictions in the comments about, you know, what people thought CU would do in terms of their record. Actually, some really good comments. I think a lot of us, including myself, upped the score a bit. I think I said 41-28. I mean, 41-38. Why did I change it? Because I've been studying up a little bit, listening to people talk, kind of doing some research on Haynes King. That's the quarterback from Georgia Tech. Now, what I know about Haynes King is he's similar to Kaidon Salter. What do I mean by that? They put up numbers when it comes to passing and when it comes to rushing, right? So it's going to be a high-scoring game. So instead of, I think I said 28-21 or something like that, I just went on up to the 40s and the 38. Why is that? Because it's going to be a high-scoring game with two quarterbacks that like to run. Kaidon Salter loves the run pass option. Haynes King does as well. So their defense and our defense is going to be busy. So that's basically, you know, what I'm saying. These guys, it's going to be an exciting game. They both like to run. So I changed my prediction. So I think it's a couple of other people that gave me their prediction. Let's see what it was. I said 41-38. And then somebody, William Anderson, stopped by and said 41 Buffs, Georgia Tech 19. And I said, oh, okay, so that means that he believes in our defense, right? And then Philip Hawkins stopped by and said Buffs 37, Tech 21. So a lot of people believe that Colorado's defense is going to stop Haynes King, slow him down, and the offense. And from what I can understand, they call them the Haynes Bros because the running back's last name is Haynes and they're not related. And the quarterback last name is Haynes. So Georgia Tech pride themselves on Haynes King and his dual threat ability, his legs, the extend plays, as well as their running back. So we're going to have to stop their run and we're going to have to stop their quarterback on the run. So, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot happening here. I think as we get closer, people realize CU is not just going to be a pushover. We know we also have a strong run game now. We know we committed to the run. We know we also have a serious O-line, right? We know we got a nasty D-line too, right? Not just the O-line, the D-line too. And with the guys that they seemingly putting up front, and then surrounded by the edge rushers, Okanola and Arden Walker, then, you know, some people think Quincy Wiggins will get in there. I think we're going to be able to stop them better than they think. Georgia Tech thinks that all they have to do where CU is concerned which makes me think they're watching last year's film. All they said they have to do is stop Kaidon. I'm like, no, you're gonna have to stop boarding Kaidon. I'm like, you're gonna have to stop boarding Kaidon. So, I don't know if they just playing in our face, meaning they really been doing their homework. They looking, to see that we have truly improved. But 41-38, people, 41-38. All right, so let's move on to Randy Moss. All right, so Randy Moss is at CU, and he wanted to talk to the team. I think he might actually have a future in coaching himself for motivational speaking. I got a little bit of it when he went up to the front to talk about, you are my brother, I am my brother's keeper. He told the story about how his brother passed away from, I think he said, heart issues. So when Coach Prime called and he found out Coach Prime, what he was going through, Coach Prime said Randy Moss basically was the one that called him every day. I remember him saying that. He said Randy Moss checked on him every day because Randy also had a battle with cancer and overcame it, right? So Randy's philosophy is, he lost his brother. So when he found out about Coach Prime, he became my brother's keeper. I like that, right? I like that. And he talked about the 3 F's, faith, football, and family are important for him. Sometime fishing. But what the best takeaway that for me was when he was talking to the wide receiver room. I felt like he gave them some invaluable insight, and some of it they may have heard before, but it makes a difference when you're hearing it from an objective third party who didn't have to show up and tell it to you, and they already where you're trying to go, right? So let's take a listen to Randy Moss talking to the wide receivers at CU. All right. Welcome, everybody. If you're just not joining us, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. All right. Take Kaidon off. All right. All right. Have a listen. We might be able to run this one back, but just have a listen.
What do you think it takes to get the gold jacket?
Being a student of the game. Being a student of the game in preparation, because you can line up in the 40. You can go out here and jump. You can go to the ball machine. Yeah, all of that is cool. But it's when I got a Hall of Famer in front of me, am I nervous? No, I'm ready to rock and roll. If I prepared myself, I'm ready to go. But I haven't prepared myself. I'm going to be nervous as hell going against this man. This man making all this money, Pro Football Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, whatever. I'm going to be nervous. But the one thing that I keep telling y'all guys is about preparation. If you're prepared, you're ready to rock and roll.
Where have we heard that before? Who has basically tried to drive home that point? Coach Prime. Practice, preparation. So it makes a difference when Randy Moss come in and say it.
So whoever they put in front of me, no matter who it was, Coach was talking about the double vice that they put on me back in the day. My double vice, the double punt. They had me on 2nd and 3rd down. They put a double vice on me back in the day. I was thinking, like, man, how the hell am I going to defeat a double vice? You know what my philosophy was about defeating a double vice? I'll find the weakest corner of the two. And that's the first one I'm a bash. So when I come off the ball, I'm hitting him first. I ain't gonna hit the strong one. The weak one, because he don't want to be here. I'm gonna hit him first, and then I'm gonna go to the next one. So like I said, in order to get that gold jacket, it's about preparation, man. If you know what you're doing, it's gonna help you play faster.
I see you getting it in.
So you heard what he said, right? And I can attest to that in real life, whether it's presentations, whether it's class, you're most nervous when you're unsure and you don't know. But when you prepare, when you study your opponent, when you can pick out the weakness, whether the weakness is an individual or whether weakness is a character flaw or whether it's a trait that they're not aware of, that's how you hone in. When I heard him say that, I said, oh, that is so valuable. That is so valuable because oftentimes when we have a contest, we're thinking about what it is we can do. We're not always looking at the opponent for what we can exploit, right? We see exploitation every day. But the point is, when you have a contest, you look for the weakness and exploit it. That's what he taught them. Now, I know it's some Georgia Tech people. I don't care what nobody say. I know they watch our content. They going to use that too, right? So that means that you want to flip it. You want to make sure they don't smell or see any weakness in your eyes. You want to make sure you present yourself as top dog and that you heard what Randy Moss said. and there's no weakness in you either. So it works both ways. So I felt like for him to come in and share that, and he's in the wide receiver room, that's huge, right? And you know, we already got a target on our back because why? They're already talking about we have the celebrities, and here come Randy Moss. But see, that's what they underestimate, right? We don't just have celebrities that come to watch the game. We always have celebrities that are either on the sideline encouraging the players, you know, giving some tutelage. Remember Terrell Owens, I think was talking to Travis Hunter one time. And then Travis Hunter, we saw him giving tutoring to when he was with us. He's at Florida now. Carmani McClain. I mean, that's a beautiful picture, right? So these guys don't just come to the game because they're celebrities, right? These guys come to kick game and knowledge to the players so they can go out there and ball out. Give them the tricks of the trade that they would never get if they weren't exposed to this at CU, right? So I was pretty proud of that moment. Again, we're going to have a target on our back because, you know, we're not in the SEC. People saying Coach Prime should go to the SEC. That ought to tell you everything you need to know. We're in a conference that people don't really hold in high regard. And we doing the thing, right? And why they said we're going to go 6-6, now 6-6 with Travis and Shador, it just lets you know that they know we're going to do better than that. And everybody got their own agenda. Vegas got their own agenda, right? Vegas want people to bet against CU so they can make that coin. And that's why they dole out the hate and stuff like that. But let's be real. How can you say we're going to go 6-6 with a Heisman winner and 2 Heisman candidates, best quarterback coming out of college? And then when we lose them, we're going to do the same thing. So basically you saying Travis and Shador was not impactful at all. And you know that that's not the case, right? And another thing too about CU and why we have a target on our back. We're not an SEC school, but we're one of the most watched programs. That's not even ranked in the top 25, right? So we have to earn everything we get. And what people don't understand is we get kicked to the side. We don't get ranked, but yet we still have, you know, some of the most watched games. That's what people don't like about CU. Why is it that they getting all of the shine and you know, we don't even hold them in high regard? That's why people put a target on our back. So I'm gonna hop in these comments and see what y'all are saying about Randy Moss's visit, about Travis Hunter, Leanna having a baby. Don't forget, go to their social media and you know, congratulations. And Kaidon Salter. You know, what do you think? I don't know if you're at a point where you could predict how many yards he's going to do rushing or passing, but now that you know who he is, you know, let me know what you think about his near perfect season. And could he repeat it at CU? So let's hop in the comments and see what we got going. Hey, Queen, how you doing? It said, just wanted to shout out, just watched the short of Travis and Leanna at the birth of their baby. It's dark, but better pictures to come. Yeah, I mean, I think they didn't want to show the actual, right? And I'm cool with that because I don't need to see. I don't need to see too much. But yeah, it's great video. But toward the end, they blacked it out because they wanted you to rather hear than see such an intimate moment. And I totally agree, right? Totally agree. Exposing the truth. I can't wait to hear your take on Travis Hunter. I mean, I'm happy they had a baby. I mean, you're gonna only get, you know, that kind of thing from me in terms of such good news. I was happy when they got married, beautiful wedding. You know, I guess I'm one of those people when it comes to like Travis, you know, in my heart, I want him to be happy, right? You know, I don't want to hear, you know, what people think is gonna happen is gonna happen. I really don't want to hear that, right? Because I know it's gonna hurt him. I know it's gonna forever change him, and not necessarily for the good, right? So that's my take on it, right? Supposedly the new QB will be, what's that, Sharon? What are you saying, Sharon? The new QB will be what? Hey, Val, how you doing? Hey, Regina, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Peter. Congrats. She did look pregnant in her wedding dress. Yeah, now we did say that. We said she looked a little expected, right? So, you know, she's little, so I guess it didn't show so much later on, but I didn't really see her, to be honest. So I think from the moment I heard they bought a house, I can't tell you I saw her until last week when they shared they had a cat, and I didn't really look at it. I think I saw them kind of, I was scrolling. You know how you scroll in and you see something, you just keep it pushing. Something about we had a cat. That was it. but I didn't really see them. I just kind of heard. I couldn't even tell you where they were. Highway trooper. Yeah, see, that's what people feels like, right? That, there's something happening here. Here's the thing about it. Marriages can be annulled if there's fraud involved. And it don't matter how long you marry. You could be married for 10 years. If it was set up from the beginning, if you find out it was fraud from the beginning, you can annul it. So he gonna be okay. He gonna be okay. The Egyptian Queen said, Brown signed Bailey's app. Yeah, we talked about that on the last podcast. If y'all didn't know, the Browns have another overcrowded QB room. We talked about it on the last podcast. Check it out. The guy used to play for Cleveland. Oh, somebody did tell me when I said, why didn't they just sign Huntley? Somebody came in the comments and said Huntley didn't want to come back. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I don't know who it was. Identify yourself if you want to. But I was quickly going through the comments and somebody said they heard or read that Huntley didn't want to come back. He's with the Ravens. I said, you know what? I can see it. I can see him going, don't send me back there. I can see it. So if that is true, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm just glad Huntley got with another team, right? I'm glad he got with another team. It said, oh, wow. Travis's baby can grow up with Snow, Coach Prime grandson. That's true. That's true. A year apart. Yeah, that's true. They could be friends. And just in case y'all don't know, Snow got his own IG page. It says Snow Sanders Broadnax. Broadnax. So he has his own page. He was at gymnastics class. And he was on a little pole thing where you roll around. And he looked like he was having fun till they turned him upside down. So if y'all haven't watched it, I follow Snow on IG. Now we can see Travis's baby. So yeah, they're about a year apart. So they can grow up together. Birthday parties and things like that. That's excellent. It says Shiloh might be headed to Atlanta. Ooh, the city would love that. How did you hear that, Gail? Last I heard Pittsburgh, but I haven't heard anything in the last 24 hours. And he is officially, Shiloh, an undrafted free agent. Yeah, unrestricted, undrafted free agent. So he's free to be selected by another team. I'll put a star by this since Gail said that he can possibly end up in Atlanta. I think that would be good for the team. We need something like that in the city. And now that the Saints have signed Spencer Rattler, I'll be cheering for them. I'm so proud of the Saints. And why? Because they ran a little crazy competition, even though Tyler Shaw wasn't good at the combine. But at the end of the day, they named the best QB, Spencer Rattler, as QB1. Now, y'all know that takes the 16 to 32. That's where they are now. So 1 away from 17. But I'm proud of the Saints because, I felt like for a second they was going to try to get out of it. And I don't know if y'all know, but this weekend is the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. So 20 years ago, I can tell you exactly, what was happening, what time of day it was and all sorts of kind of things. And I was watching a new documentary that came out because it seemed like every year it's a new documentary from a different perspective, from different people about Katrina. And I felt like there's like a lot of similarity between the aftermath of Katrina and the NFL and what's happening with these Black quarterbacks, and in particular, Shedeur Sanders. And when I finished the documentary, I was just kind of heavy-hearted a little bit because it was obvious, what was going on, right? It was being racist. I mean, that's all it was. So today, when I saw that Kellen Moore named Spencer Rattler QB1, I was like, thank you, Jesus. I'm like, just thank you, Jesus. I'm like, because, at some point when all the bad just keep happening, you keep seeing more and more racism. You just look around over here, you look around over there. It doesn't get defeated. It just makes you want to tune out. Never defeated, but you just want to tune out. It can be exhausting, as some people say. So I protect my peace and tune out. But I felt like I saw that for a reason. And I just try to tell y'all as a NOLA girl, as somebody from the South, I try to tell y'all that the lengths that these people will go, you see what's happening with Shedeur. You know what happened with Katrina, and it was the same, right? It was the same. Shedeur made it through the draft, even though it was bad. They made it through Katrina with the rain, but then the sun came out. And just like Shedeur, when he gets to Cleveland, all hell breaks loose. When the levees broke, all hell broke loose. And that's when all of the racism just became prevalent, right? They said things were happening that weren't happening. People were in the Superdome for 5 days. They wouldn't let them out. They had no food, no water. people were at the convention center outside for 5 to 6 days in 90-degree heat. They had no food or no water. People were dying on the sidewalk, right? The governor was more concerned about having Washington to send the military for criminal activity when people was just trying to get water and food, because for 5 or 6 days, it was just water up to 8 and 10 feet and sometimes covering the roof of a house with bodies floating in the water. And they was worried about crime when people just wanted something to drink. And when they tried to go across the bridge to other places, they got shot at. The police turned them back because they were black. And there were stories about how the helicopters came to rescue people, and they rescued the white people but left the black people. You probably saw a few black people be rescued, but when they did the rescues in the white areas where the black people also live, it didn't work out for them. So I look at what's happening with Shador. I see the racism. I know what it is. I know a lot of people, well, their minds can't fathom. Kevin Stefanski will go through these great lengths. Yes. To get him hurt. Yes. Why? Because he don't belong. The same as people on the other side of the Mississippi River were shooting at people from New Orleans who was just trying to get to the other side of the river just to get some food. 5 or 6 days. Just sitting in the dome with the roof caving in, and they have weapons pointed at you because you black. So I see the same thing in the NFL with Shador in Cleveland, and I just shake my head because just like those people never had a change of heart. I don't see that happening either. But I will say this, right? I will say that after Katrina, a lot of people, they got pushed out. They fired 5,000 school teachers, most of them black middle class, and took over the school system. They fired every last one of the school teachers. So a lot of them moved to Houston, to Dallas, to Atlanta, to Memphis, to different cities, right? And they're doing much better than they would have done in New Orleans. So I remember thinking, it's a blessing in disguise that you got pushed out. So hear me when I say, if he get pushed out, it's a blessing, not in disguise. Just know you've been taught, you've been told it's a blessing because they're not going to stop. And I would hate for him to be in the league and waste his best years and then get pushed out to only find out you wasted your best years when you could have just got up and walked out, or maybe been happy that they pushed you out in year one. So there's a lot of similarities in the aftermath of Katrina and the aftermath of the NFL draft where Shador was concerned. It's a lot of lessons there in terms of racism, how persistent. And we ain't talking Jim Crow. We talking modern times. We talking modern times. And if you saw it with Katrina in 2020 and you seen it with Kevin Stefanski and the Browns, with the culture being curated by Haslam, then you know it's a collaborative effort to hold him down and to push him out. So Val C said, I don't think he was injured just to cover to help Travis with his privacy. I agree. I think they just gave Travis some time with the baby and his new wife. That's really what I think too. But it goes to show you how injuries can be used to cover up things, right? So let's keep that in mind. In Travis's case, it was like a little maternity leave. And I remember looking at him coming to the arena one time, and he looked cute in his tan suit, and he looked pensive and in thought. I didn't know what he was, and that could be what it is. And then when you have a new baby, you know, you got to be up, right? And you could see in most of the video, it was just them. Now, they could have been family to the side, of course, right? But as you can see, you know, he's integral. He's involved. When the baby want to wake up, he's going to help her sleep. He's the model husband from what we could see, right? So, you know, I'm sure he'll be excited to be back, and the fans are happy he's back. But I think if people knew, they would have respected. I ain't going to say they would have respected his privacy. They wouldn't have had a problem with him being gone for the rest of the preseason. I don't think anybody, I ain't going to say people not that unreasonable, but I wouldn't have had a problem with it. And I don't think we would have had a problem with it. So congratulations. It said the baby will be another $5 million. Okay. See, y'all got to give people a chance. Sometimes you got to start over with people. You know, I like to tell people, yep, things can go south and you can move on. But sometimes you have to start over with people. A lot. Until God opened that door. So It said, never heard of a Bailey Zapp apparently with the Patriots. Yeah, he played with the Patriots. They cut him. And y'all know Andrew Berry like a fire sale. So he scooped him on up because I'm sure Kevin Stefanski wanted to get somebody else who they could say is a veteran to replace Pickett to hold back Shador. And again, I will remind you going forward, and as it always has been, but going forward, and why going forward, is God versus Kevin Stefanski. God on Shador Sanders' behalf versus Kevin Stefanski. Why now? Because Shador knows exactly what's going on and how to move. And he's had about 6 or 7 angels on his path to get him every step of the way right here. And we know he has a discerning spirit. So now he can take a step back and let God move on his behalf, uninterrupted. So it said Kaidon Salter's record as a QB is similar to Coach Prime's coaching record. The haters are ignoring his FCF record and comparing him against the elite of the Power 5, minimized and devalued. Facts. And we don't expect nothing different from them. And see, this is how you're going to feel about the NFL going forward. We're now in the rhythm and the routine to understand that they're going to discount Coach Prime. We know it. We expect it. And it does not change anything. Why? Because the season is still sold out. The game is sold out, right? So the draft didn't change anything. The hate, the 6-6 didn't change anything. I don't even know if there are any bettors in the chat. Let us know how you bet if you feel comfortable sharing that sort of thing. Because I remember it was the UCF game. It's where people realized that Vegas was hating on CU so people could just lose their money. It was that game that people realized you can't bet with Vegas on CU because they kept saying we were going to lose. We won that game by more than 13 points or somewhere near it. No, I think it was we were supposed to lose by 13 points. We won that game by a lot. We put a BTA on them. And after that, that's when people started to realize you can't bet with Vegas about CU. And now we know going into year 3, they're not going to give Coach Prime his props. What else should we know going into the 2026 draft? All right, you know, right? You know. So a couple of things are becoming established that when you black in certain of the highest positions that they deem the best or the most important to have power or influence, they don't want black people there. That's why there's such a fight for the city of New Orleans. It's the same thing. That's how I know exactly what it is I'm looking at. When you have the ability or you are a threat to what they deem sovereign, by any means necessary to keep you from it. Same thing goes with the NFL and the NFL draft. It said Juju and their freshman linebacker, Montavious French, is that his name? Grew up playing in one of the most dominant high school circuits in the country, and Juju dominated while graduated early. Facts. Juju gonna be unstoppable next year. This year too. I think he's gonna get in there. I'm telling you. Coach Prime said I think he would like for Juju to get in there. That means everybody got to do their job. What did Coach Prime say? He want everybody in there. That means the guys that start out, they got to dominate. If we can dominate them and we get to the fourth and a half quarter, then Juju and the second team and the third team, they're going to be in there. Hell, we might see Ponder if they get the score up, but understand we got a target on our back. They're going to come out swinging. And I know Georgia Tech got enough people over there to tell them, y'all going to have to move different when you get to that altitude. They seemingly seem to dismiss it, but they too smart over there. They ain't too smart over there for that. So I think they kind of probably are being conditioned and prepared, knowing that the second half is when it comes. Because if they come out with all they might in the first half and they don't understand, it's going to knock them out in the second half. So let's just see what happens. I just want us to come out swinging, right? I know Coach is nervous. He doesn't have 2. I don't think so. I don't think y'all know. Kaidon, I'm telling you, Kaidon, there are people that will tell you they feel like Kaidon is a more complete QB than our fave. They will tell you that because he's a dual threat, right? One of the ways Andrew Berry tried to discount Shador is because he don't have no mobility, which is not true. He has mobility and escapability. People don't know. Juju is more of a Shador. Kaidon Salter and Haynes King got a lot more in common. They are true dual threat QBs. Kaidon had 12 touchdowns rushing. I think Shador might have had a season with some touchdowns like that. I'd have to look it up, or somebody can look it up. But it's the catch-22 in the NFL, right? Because it depends on who you are if they want you to be a dual threat. They okay with Josh Allen being a dual threat, but then it's reported they want to switch him off to a pocket passer. But then Shador is a pocket passer, and they devalue him, saying it's outdated. But then Lamar Jackson is a dual threat, and look at how they do him. And same thing with Jalen Milroe and Jalen Hurts. They said Deshaun Watson had the curse of the dual threats. So when is it a curse to be a dual threat? When you're black. When is it a curse to be a pocket passer? When you're black. And that's what people need to understand about the NFL. It's not like they playing by the rules. The only people who have to play by the rules are players like Shiloh. That's it. That's the only players that have to play by the rules. And honestly, when I look at the list of all of the players that got waived when their dads are legends, Shiloh was going to get waived anyway, because the rest of them did. They don't want their DNA. Did the Steelers get Shiloh? When I checked before the podcast, the answer was no. I didn't see any updates. Maybe tomorrow or maybe overnight, but nothing yet. Hey, Odell, how you doing? Congrats to Travis and Leanna. Facts. It said these players should never get married while playing, but they will never learn. I don't have a problem with them getting married. It's just not right now. It's just too much. It's too much, right? And I get it. Getting drafted high and you feel like you have some security, but being married, right? Being married, like Travis, it's just all a lot all at once, right? He just, like I said, he been on a whirlwind tour of life experience, life events, right? Just everything. The Heisman, go back to OSU, personal situation exposed. Then you got the Heisman, and it's some more information. Then you got the pre-draft, then you got the draft, then you got more information coming out, then you get married. I mean, it's just on and on. It's like a lot just all at one time with no ability to breathe, right? It's like these things take about a year or two to occur all at one time for most people. But it just looked like it's boom, 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 right? But I get it. He high energy. So maybe, he okay with it, or it just went that way, and what he gonna do? He not gonna say no, right? So we just wish him the best, but it's a lot happening all at once. I think with it being all good stuff, that's good. Because if it was a lot of bad stuff, like, that's you got to sit back and look at how much he's had, how many life events he's been through in such a short period of time. The graduation, he didn't even think he was going to be able to walk at a graduation, but he did, right? Then he got married, the draft somewhere in there, the baby pregnant this whole time. And it's just a lot. And I saw somebody's comment that said she was pregnant in December. And it's a lot of us that's been pregnant more than once. Okay. And she was also pregnant in Mexico, right? And okay. So no excuses. We don't do excuses. We just gonna celebrate you because this is what you want to do. But we ain't doing no excuses. All right. It said, I wish 12 Travis well. I just don't have any interest in his personal life. I get it. A lot of people don't. But this was too good because, a baby, right? I celebrate snow. So, I like the kids. So I totally understand. I think somebody asked me about it. I said, I don't really talk about Travis like that. But this was good. Like the wedding, I was happy about the wedding. I'm happy about the baby, right? Again, you got to start over with people, right? I didn't say you got to trust them. I say you got to start over with them. My prayers are with Travis and his family. They are young and have a lot of life ups and downs, right? And they are very young. They are very, very young. I mean, she has a lot of good qualities, right? Like memorializing the everything, like memorializing the games. She has great sense of style. I mean, you can find the bad in people if you're looking for it. I mean, nobody's perfect. And no, I don't give a damn how pregnant you are. No, just no. But there's a lot of growing on both sides. The goal is hopefully they grow together. And now they got a baby. So you're going to need to grow together now. Because see, it's different when it's just you and the person. But now you done brought a baby into it, and that changes the dynamic. That changes the amount of time you can spend together. It just changes things. Babies change relationships. They change the dynamic. And he travels, so she gonna have to have help. I mean, it's just a whole lot happening, right? Again, it's a whole lot happening at one time. That's all I'm saying, at one time. So, I just wish him well. I just wish him well. It said Georgia Tech game is like the build up to the TCU game. They said number 2 is the HBCU QB and could not beat him, right? And they said Kaidon played in the Conference USA, and same thing. Anything to push back what they say, move the goalposts. Hey, Queen T, how you doing? Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. There are 111 of us. If you're just not joining us, we watched the video, Dear Son, which I think is cute, with Travis and his wife. They had a baby. And so you can go back and rewatch it later if you want to. It's on Travis's page, Travis Hunter, his YouTube page. And I think it might be on his IG too. It says Cleveland Browns have went and got themselves a veteran quarterback, someone named Bailey, to be QB4 on the practice squad. Oh, he gonna be on the practice squad. Joe Flacco was on the practice squad, and they pulled him right on off. All right, so he gonna be on the practice squad. Okay, Sharon say practice squad. I hope it's true that what's his name, Huntley, didn't want to come back to Cleveland, because it says a lot. It says a lot. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what somebody said. It said, I got a crown. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. You got a crown? Okay. It says metal. We can't see it. We can just see the description of it, but thank you. Hey, Valerie, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? And Salafi, how you doing? Nola, yep. Nola girl here. Proud Nola girl today. BJ Riggs, how's it doing? How you doing? It said, I think Kaidon Salter will help open up the running game for the running back. Colorado is going to be a physical team this year. I think so too. I think it's going to be a good game. Again, we were dropping scores. I screenshot ours from the other day. Feel free to drop them if you want to update them. I updated my score now that I know Haynes King and Kaidon have a lot in common. They both like to run and pass, both true dual threats. You will be seeing Haynes King on Sundays. 41-38. I think it's going to be a high scoring game just because of the two quarterbacks, because of both running games, both teams kind of evenly matched, right? And the crazy part is we kind of evenly matched, and we have the better wide receiver room. They're not good downfield. I mean, it says that we could win, right? So why is it they predicted to win the ACC, but we at the bottom of the Big 12? And the Big 12 not supposed to be all that. You see? You see how evenly matched the two teams are? Quarterback for quarterback, running back for running back. Pick one, because hell, we got several. O-line for O-line, D-line for D-line. Our receivers versus their secondary. They receivers versus our secondary. The safeties. We're supposed to be the better team. We're supposed to have the advantage. Their advantage is Haynes King because he likes to use his legs. But isn't that what Kaidon Salter is? But because he's from Conference USA, they undercut it. So pay attention. Pay attention. It's going to be a good game. We are definitely going to be live in about 20 or 30 minutes. It's going to be Friday Eve, meaning Thursday. So one day away from game week. So far, it's going well. I was happy to see Randy Moss come in and talk to the receivers. They're not going to ever forget what he said. They're not going to ever forget what he said. People like Randy Moss coming in and telling you the preparation makes the difference. It's going to make them go harder and get to the fine details. Because he played the same position as him, And I think they said Coleman, RC, when he first got to CU, he wanted Randy Moss's number, but they won't give it to him because it's Randy Moss, right? You can't just get Randy Moss's number. So CU holds that number in high regard. And Coach Prime said he had a Randy Moss jersey growing up or at some point in life. And it must have been at some point in life. And he wore it so much the screen printing came off. Because I think Coach Prime is older than Randy Moss. But he said he had a Moss jersey. Leanna and Travis had not had the baby yet. She still have a few months to go. I know. I think she had the baby, right? No, they were in the hospital. Remember at the end of the video, they were in the hospital and you could hear labor and delivery. And you can hear Travis say the baby looked just like me. So no, she had the baby. They didn't tell anybody, but she had the baby. And I didn't see her. So I don't know how big she got. And I don't know when they took the picture with her by the pool. I wasn't paying attention. I'm just happy they got a healthy baby. So it said Bucks could have called Shiloh back. They was going to cut him anyway. I'm telling you, the narrative was always there. When he first got there, they started to try to go in on him, thinking he walking in like he owned the place. I remember them saying that sort of kind of thing. And after the blitz thing, the media, after he did well with the blitz, the media started going in and putting out the narrative that he gonna get cut. They be telling you what's gonna happen. When they said they were gonna get him, they could bring Huntley back. I think Tony Grossi said they could bring Huntley back, and they was gonna put Huntley in front of Shador. And I said, oh, okay, let's see them bring Huntley back. They didn't even bring Huntley back. They brought somebody else back. And the reason why they expect the person to come off the practice squad and be in front of Shador is because I told you they don't have high hopes for Dylan. They went and got a veteran to get in front of Dylan too, not just Shador. He's to replace Kenny Pickett. So that means they want to have 2 vets before they get to the rookies. That ought to tell Dylan everything. But then Dylan might just be happy to be somewhere. And I've said that about him. He's just happy to be somewhere. So the last thing he should do is partake in the beating up on of Shador Sanders, because you just here in the way. You could go, right? They don't want to part ways with Shador because Stefanski can't. See, Stefanski is the reason Dylan's there. Understand that. So if Stefanski go, Dylan could go. And it is very possible he can get the hell on. Don't be surprised. It is God on behalf of Shador versus Stefanski, because Shador understands what is now happening. You can see it. Just go out there and have fun. God got you. He keeps seeing God open the door and keep him there. And they've been wanting to get rid of him. But Stefanski, he can't get rid of Shador. That ain't his call. You can see it. It said, I saw Tyler's press conference and he was kind of sad. He said, I did all I could do in a competition. Oh, okay. Well, he's right. But he probably happy to be gone because Cleveland is just, it's horrible. Even the Saints made Spencer Rattler the best quarterback. Even the Saints went with the best quarterback. You see? And that ought to tell you, if Stefanski can't get rid of somebody that he trying to show that doesn't belong, that's coming from the owners. Collusion. 16-32 is active. We just need one more for 17-32. So it's at the halfway mark, just like it was in the draft, which proves Tyler Shaw, who failed in the combine, was a wasted pick. Tell me I'm wrong. Wasted pick. It said, hey, what she said, did you see a clip where Flacco's kids not rooting for him? Yes, I saw that. I was like, geez, his son got beef. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's, people were using that as a teachable moment. I'm like, I think his son ready for him to retire. That's what I was picking up. It said Cleveland's assistant GM was talking big stuff about Dylan. Who is that? Who is the assistant GM? It said, yes, when they have the levees broke, allegedly. Yeah, when the levees broke, that was a problem. They gave the general, the Raging Cajun, the credit. Are you talking about Honore? I mean, if you're talking about General Honore, I see why they gave him the credit, because he basically took over. He went down there almost before the orders came, and he was the one telling the military that was in town, who had their weapons pointed at the citizens. He was telling them, put your weapons down. He's like, this is a humanitarian effort, even though the governor, herself, was the one trying to turn it into a criminal crisis, because it wasn't. It's because they were Black. That's all. That's it. It said, but when Florida is in its crisis, Jeb Bush has it up and running. Right. And in the lower Ninth Ward in New Orleans, where a lot of Black people own their homes, they didn't want to rebuild. They didn't want to rebuild. And they even had people in New Orleans asking, so y'all just want the land back? That must be what's happening. Because they were like, why would we rebuild the city if it flooded? And you know what people have said? You rebuild Florida all the time. You do it every single time. You rebuild Florida every single time. So why wouldn't you rebuild New Orleans? Because New Orleans is majority Black. And there was even a discrepancy with how much the insurance company were paying Black homeowners versus white. It's just an ugly situation. It was a horrible situation made worse by racism. And the fact that Bush flew over at 35,000 feet to look down upon it while he got off the plane in Arkansas and other states that were hit made it worse. It made it worse. And none of it had to be that way. It's going to always be a fight for New Orleans. Always. And the crazy part is Atlanta's not really that different. We just don't have hurricanes here. But, they felt like they were trying to move a lot of the Black people in Atlanta further out to the suburbs with these USDA grants to buy houses. And they thought that's how they was going to clear out the city of Atlanta to reduce the number of Black people to flip the state to the color they wanted to be, this, that, and the other. But what they never counted on, when those people moved out, because they did, people from other states moved right back in those spots. People from New Orleans moved to Atlanta. And I'm talking after Katrina. People from Alabama moved to Atlanta. So they like, well, damn, we thought we were going to get rid of the Black people by moving them to the suburbs so we can get the city. Because, that's the real estate that you want. And just more Black people from other states moved in. And they like, okay, we give up. They're going to give up for now. But they'll be back to try to figure it out. Just like there's a fight for New Orleans. There's a fight for the airport in Atlanta. Same thing. Same thing. On where the power lies. It said they wanted those lands in New Orleans. Yeah, they wanted their land back. They fired all the middle class people, like the school teachers, because they don't have big corporations there, right? They fired all those people because they didn't want them to come back. They had signs up, welcome back, the road home programs. That was all charade. They did not want the Black people to come back to the city. And too bad, because they went back and some more moved there. See, that's what I'm saying. You keep getting rid of people that are there, thinking if I flood the city, because nobody believes the levees just accidentally broke surrounding the city. Nobody really believes that, right? Like they kind of knew it was going to happen because they knew the storm surge was 25 feet. They knew the levees could only protect 17. I mean, if the water going to come over it, it's going to break, right? Right. So they knew. It said the new stadium is being built in a predominantly white town. Yep. Surrounded by former sundown towns. Cleveland know what it's doing. They know what it's doing. That's why I said it's Guy versus Stefanski. It's going to either be Stefanski to go or it's going to be Shador. It's going to be Shador. It said it ain't the first time they have destroyed a community to steal the land. I mean, facts, right? It has happened so many times. Central Park, Hamptons, Myrtle Beach. Yup. I mean, people now, there's a town called Normanville or Norman, somewhere between South Carolina, North Carolina. It's the town. And I'm looking at the people advertise the town, trying to get people to move there. And I'm listening for these code words. They do the same thing with Strongsville in Cleveland. If you go look on YouTube, they advertise, is Strongsville right for you? Strongsville is 86% white, right? That's where Myles Garrett and Shador coincidentally got stopped, right? Because 6 out of 10 times, Black people get stopped more in Strongsville than white people, right? And that's who live there. So it's like they profile it, right? So, it's a lot of towns that are underwater. Lake Lanier is one of them, right? So between flooding and just Tulsa straight up bombing, fire, eminent domain, all of it, it's all designed to do the same thing, right? And people say, oh, Black people don't own nothing. It's because you don't know what they did to what we did own. You don't know what they did to what we did own, right? And it's never ended. And that's what Julian Johnston Law was saying. Black people underestimate Jim Crow. He was talking about back then when it was active. I mean, right now. That's a lot of people don't know about it. They heard of it, but they don't know what it means. They don't know to the extent. It said in the Jim Crow days, they put the brothers in the fields today. They put them on the field, right? In the field house. I'm like, wait a minute. So y'all on the field and in the field house, they couldn't come up with nothing else. That's like the Cotton Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. They need to change the names of the Cotton Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. I think y'all know why they got the name, right? Why is that the case? It said, I'm glad Huntley was able to get away. I totally agree. I totally agree. It said now for Shador to get away too. Yeah, that's going to take some God doing right there because they hell bent on holding him. But again, what did I say? God versus God on behalf of Shador versus Kevin Stefanski. Jesus versus Kevin Stefanski. I bet, understand that's where we are. Understand that that's where we are. It said Coach Prime keep winning. And he said he will meet the SEC in the playoffs. That's their worst fear. Facts. And you would think that the rest of the Big 12 people would be cool with that because they want to get, that too, but not necessarily. I'm not saying he got a lot of haters, but we're going to see how these refs do, right? We're going to see what they do, what they allowed to do. What they allowed to do, because we know the refs were cheating last year. It said, I hope outsiders won't pollute Juju's mind and try to poach him away from CU. I'm already hearing about him being unhappy with the second quarterback. That's going to be what it's going to be. Understand that. They said his dad made a statement, but I didn't hear it. Did anybody hear it? I didn't think it was negative. I just didn't hear it. I'm hoping Huntley finds a good team. He's with the Ravens. He's with the Ravens. So he was already with the Ravens. He got a Pro Bowl nod with the Ravens. So I think he's good. He's in familiar territory. Who stole my crown? Uh-oh. Say she had a crown and somebody stole it. So I don't know. It said Muhammad Ali understood the draft, and now with hindsight and a victim of collusion, so did Shador. Yeah. Different draft, but yeah. It said Jimmy Horn make the team. Yes, he did, Highway Trooper. He is on the 53-man roster with the Panthers. It said no assist and hey to the chat. How you doing, Isaiah? Welcome. So, yep, Jimmy made it. He made it. It says some Dixie crack Southern good old boys with Michael eugenics privileged Midwest. Yeah, I heard the Midwest is different. Never been to the Midwest like that. I mean, I've been through it, but not like for weeks and days at a time. Huntley signed with the Ravens. So if y'all just not joining us, Huntley signed with the Ravens. Gilbert Arenas has a podcast with his wife, and they announced their pregnancy too. Yeah, I didn't know he was married to what is her name? I followed her. I forget her name, but she got an accent of some sorts. I forget her name, but she had a podcast too, and I guess they do a little something together now. So that they're pregnant. Okay. Big 12 supposed to be bad. Yeah, and I don't see that, right? Because didn't Arizona State go to the semifinals? And Iowa State versus Arizona State was a good game. That was a good game. Auburn faces Baylor at the same time Colorado plays. So Baylor's going to play Auburn. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Okay. I think we rooting for Baylor, right? We root for Baylor since we beat them last year. We don't want them to lose again. I don't know. Maybe in the rankings, we're not cheering for them. Maybe not yet. I know, like, toward the end of the season, we were cheering for Houston to win against Kansas State. So maybe when we get to the end, if we're at the top, then we kind of like, want them to help us out. It said Nebraska plays Cincinnati tomorrow. On a Thursday? Oh, okay. It says, so the Big 12 has a chance to get on the map early. Okay. And why is it Dylan Raiola said he can't help for looking like Pat Mahomes? I'm like, Dylan, I'm going to give you the number, 1-800-BETTER-HELP. Yes, you can. You look just like that man. Now, that's just a little weird now, because if I see your girlfriend look like his wife, we're going to need to talk. We don't need to talk. He say he can't help it. I'm like, yes, you can. How about not have the same haircut, sunglasses, yada, yada, yada? How about switch it up just a little different, right? And I get it. Pat Mahomes mentored him, but they just take it a little too far. Next, his girlfriend going to be a pasted copy of the man's wife. So I don't know. And, he got a little brother that's coming out of college that played against, that's coming out of high school, that played against Juju. It said Warren Sapp played with Randy Moss with the Ravens just before Sapp retired. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Odell said, I don't know why I feel this way, but I just feel Coach Prime should be concerned about not saying it's true but he is the Stefanski of friends. Oh yeah, I think they know. I think they know. I do. I really do. I feel like I picked up on some other things. Kenny Pickett wasn't injured. He just wanted out of Cleveland, I believe. I believe in Wrench. I mean, and I don't think nobody want to be there. We already know Myles Garrett wanted to leave, and he got money to stay. I don't know if it's enough money out there. Because here's what I'm thinking. If you could pay me this kind of money, somebody else could pay me this kind of money. But, you know, they would have probably tried to blackball him. So I don't think he was injured either. I don't. BJ Riggs, it said, I think the only way that he can leave is if he retires. Facts. Yeah, I was gonna tell y'all that's an out, but that's a choice that he would have to make to be ready to upend his NFL career. Now he could get to that point. He could get to that point where he could see that they're gonna waste his best years. Shout out to Cam Newton for started a multi-year deal with First Take. He replaces Shannon Sharp after Shannon, you know, had to move on. So shout out to Cam Newton for giving a second chance on First Take with ESPN. Hopefully this time he don't just run down Shador, but he did on his podcast shed a little light onto why he thinks Shador is in trouble. Now he did say, right? He did say that he thinks Shador has some bad habits, like the running back. He won't run into the pocket. But his co-host said, well, that's because he got sacked all those times. It isn't PTSD real. And he said, yes, that's true. He said, and it proves that Shador hasn't had those habits, prove that he hasn't had a steady O-line, so he has to improvise. And he said, I noticed his bad body language. And again, you know, threw out the negative, but tried to say, instead of just saying, I noticed his language was, you know, his body language was very telling that he knew he could not trust his O-line. So, you know, Cam is good because he does have the insight, right? Remember, in Bounty Gate with the Saints, Cam was the target, right? Yeah, sometimes I think Cam forgets how they did him. Like he was the target in Bounty Gate, right? You know, why him, right? Why him? Why not Trevor Lawrence if they played at the same time? Why not what's his name? Baker Mayfield. Why would he be the target of Bounty Gate? And sometimes when, because Cam has a lot of insight, but when he talks about Shador, you could see that he headed down this road that is parked at the intersection of jealousy. And it is. But I feel like he did a good job with his host reining him back in, pointing out that Shador doesn't just have bad habits because he's not a good quarterback, pointing out that the bad habits stem because I didn't have an O-line that could form a U shape so I could stand and move into the pocket. I mean, I just would say that. I would just say, you know, I noticed Shador has some habits that are likely formulated because he didn't have a good O-line. I wouldn't just say he has bad habits. And that's Cam being Cam. And I'm like, and I even said it in the comments. I'm like, Cam, congratulations on another chance at ESPN First Take. Let's make God proud this time. Because let's not blow it up trying to hate on Shador, you know? And his insight is too valuable for him to be adding twinges of jealousy by saying Shador has bad habits when you could finish your sentence with your co-host saying, but isn't that because of PTSD? You knew your co-host was going to say that. So don't try to slight Shador when he's going through essentially what you went through with the Carolina Panthers who didn't want you after the Super Bowl run, right? It's the same thing. You should feel disrespected and Shador should feel disrespected. And instead of Cam being like an unk, because that's what he needs to be. And maybe he's not ready to have his mind wrapped around being that guy, the unk. He should be standing there using his platform to offer advice and to question and to hold accountability. Even David Carr said, I don't understand. Why is it Shador didn't get to finish the 2-minute drill? See, that's what Cam could be talking about. But he want to slide in things to slight Shador. I'm like, Cam, you ain't going to make it on ESPN with that multi-year deal, bro. They're going to have to kick you off again because you on your own podcast trying to go back down the same road when y'all had the same experience. Cam talks about Shador. Like Cam wasn't treated like trash by the Carolina Panthers. They cut him and said, nobody else wants you. We couldn't find a suitable partner after he took them folks to the Super Bowl. And he don't have any kind of empathy for Shador. That's what irks me about Cam. It's like sometimes I can't even watch his podcast because I can count to 10. 1, 2. Shador in the title gets count to 10. I'm like, why do you have to hate so much? We love you for your insight. It's invaluable. But just stay off of the Shador conversation because you can't help but act like a crackhead. Just stop it. I mean, everybody can see it. And it makes people want to tune out his message. And his own chat tries to hold him accountable. That's just arrogant, bruh. So you have to piecemeal what it is he says and try to extract the BS from it to know that he did actually say if Shador had the same personnel, it should have had the same personnel as Dylan, he would have balled out. But then he finished that by saying, well, when you're a 5th round pick, you don't get to pick your personnel. I'm like, there we go. So I just clicked off. I just went off. Because I'm just like, this is crazy. And I know why, ESPN wanted him to come back. What did I say? This is what era are we in? The streaming era. So it should prove to you that they wanted Shannon first because his numbers was crazy up and through the roof. And all of that audience, they expect to be the beneficiaries of. Well, Shannon ended up in a situation that he shouldn't be in. And now they want to bring back Cam after running him down once because he couldn't stay off the topic of Shador. So they gave him a multi-year deal. I'm sure they gave him a talking to. I'm sure they're like, just keep that on your podcast. Don't bring it over here. And he's going to kick off the HBCU coverage that they, did last year with Shador, Cam being at Norfolk State where Michael Vick is. See, I like that part of ESPN, right? I don't watch them for anything else. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to watch, the Norfolk State thing, but it's valuable for them to do that. And it should show you that they went off the Cam and Shannon because they streaming. They're streaming. So if y'all watch Cam already, you can let me know what you think. But at least he said it. Shador didn't have the same personnel. He should have had the same personnel. But David Carr did it best. He just flat out said, "No, that's not right. He's supposed to have the 2-minute drill." So basically, people are saying that they're trying to hurt him, right? That they're trying to hurt him. That he didn't have, if he would have had the same personnel, he would have balled out. I'm like, that's why he didn't have it. That's why he didn't have it, right? But maybe that's what the small podcasters are supposed to do, right? Why they get to sidestep the issue. Maybe that's where we come in at. So if you watch Cam, the first 10 minutes was good, but when it come up to Shador, he just gonna take a left. He's just gonna go left. But I wish him well on ESPN. I wish him well. It's that not assuming, just can't shake the feeling, not saying it's true. I mean, no, I totally understand what you're saying, Odell. I also think that they know. That's what I'm saying. I think that they know. I'm just going to put it out there. I think that they know something. You know what I think they don't know? What this Southern girl knows. This NOLA girl knows. I think they don't know that those kind of relationships with the hooded people, they use those relationships. Right? They defend those relationships, but they use those relationships. And I kind of feel, and I told y'all the other day, they don't hang out with rational people. I mean, in terms of their true self, like what did Bucky tell us? Bucky said, you would have never known because that's they was talking to you. But then when they get around their own, right? When they get to their meetings or with their meeting buddies, it's unmistakable. They wear hoods, so you don't know who they are. So they're not going to tell on themselves in public. That's why I said people like Stefanski is going to get everybody roped up because he's trying to tell you. He's trying to show you his Jim Crow. He's trying to tell you what they got, the culture is in Cleveland. He's trying to tell you. The rest of them don't want you to know that that's who they are. But it's always that one that want to show everybody what it really is. That's stupidity. So I think that's the connection. And just like Bucky didn't know, nobody else would either. I'm just going to be honest. I came to that conclusion a couple of days ago. I never said it, but I think that's the connection. So it said, I think they might trade Dylan because I saw today in practice Dylan missing a receiver without even anyone rushing him. Now that he's that bad, and Shedeur was hitting all his receiver targets. That's why they went and got Bailey Zapp. They know exactly what Dylan is. That's why they went and got Bailey. They could have rolled with Flacco and Shedeur, to be honest, and get Bailey. He probably better than Dylan. But they were staunchly defending Dylan because they picked Dylan. That's what people said. I'm like, no, because you people get traded in the draft. You can get traded, you could draft by this team, and then you could have sent that person somewhere else, all in the same draft, in the same round, right? And I feel like Andrew Berry's not defending Dylan because that wasn't his pick. That was Stefanski's pick. And I feel like the reason Kevin Stefanski is fervently defending Dylan is because he don't want Shedeur to ball out as QB2 because he don't belong in his neighborhood. And then there's the relationship with Dan Lanning. I did a favor. I'm going to stick by it. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let you get up here, but let's see if Bailey Zapp gets up there. Right? Stefanski got a problem. That's number one. And that's obvious. It said, I guess I just don't trust after all that's been happening. You shouldn't trust it. You shouldn't trust it because I know I definitely don't trust it. I don't think it's a coincidence at all that Shedeur was sacked 5 times the same way he was sacked in the Nebraska game. And just like the Nebraska game, there was something on the line. And if Shedeur had balled out in this game with the Rams, there was something on the line. It went down the same way, bro. You're not going to tell me that that's a coincidence. To me, it's almost like they trying to tell you it's somebody over there. It's like, that's what I say about Stefanski. It's like he tried to tell you. Like everybody else trying to keep it a secret. Andrew Berry don't want it to get out. Haslam don't want it to get out. Nobody else, if somebody at CU over there, don't want it to get out. But he trying. He's that person. He just got to want to put it out there. That's what I meant when I said he going to get all of them roped up. He going to expose every last one of them because he's trying to. Because gloat. Because arrogance. Because stupidity. Think about the bank robber in the movie. The bank robber group, there's always one that do too much. And the next day after I said that, people were standing on his head all over TV. God versus Kevin Stefanski. God on behalf of Shedeur Sanders versus Kevin Stefanski. Mark my words. It says Shedeur Sanders QB battle. Cam Newton calls for equality in the locker room as Joe Flacco Dylan. Yep, he did call for equality in the locker room. He said it should be. And then he went straight in on Shedeur's bad habits, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay. That's why I got there. The title. But when he talked, it just come on out. That's what got me there, the title. He said it should be equality in the locker room. But Shedeur's bad habits, I'm like, Cam, you don't have to say all that. And I know he and his co-hosts sat down and talked about what they was going to talk about, right? When Peggy came out and said, I mean, but doesn't PTSD kind of cause him to back out the pocket? And so either Peggy is good cop, bad cop, or Peggy is just reining Cam in because he don't want Cam to look like he crazy no more, right? All before he wasn't reining him in. But now when it comes to the Shedeur topic, it may be others because I don't watch them that much anymore. He was reining him in today. He was the one that brought up the PTSD when Cam was talking about the bad habits. He was the one that changed the conversation's narrative away from Shedeur's bad habits to PTSD and not having an O-line shaped like a U That's why his body language was what it was. I'm like, so why did you say it was bad body language when you just know that he's trying to improvise because he didn't trust the O-line? I don't know how Shador gonna trust any O-line with Kevin Stefanski as the head coach. He gonna have the same body language, meaning I'm getting ready to get the hell out of here because I can't trust none of them. He's not gonna be able to trust the second string, first string, third, or fourth. Not if Kevin Stefanski's calling the plays. Because if the Goon Squad did their job, maybe some other people whose jobs feel secure can get away with it. He can't trust none of them. That's what we were talking about the other day. He can't. Nobody. It said that's why Byron Leftwich is there. Is he still there? So no bull crap will go on. Okay. So is Byron Leftwich still there? Again, I don't know what he looked like. So I saw people sitting at a table, right? And I know one person was Marshall Falk, Randy Moss, Marshall Falk, and some other people. I don't know if Leftwich was sitting at the table. It said, so, you know, it said Cam just want attention and he need to sit down and be quiet. He trying to get clicks. And I'm just like, he gonna go right back to ESPN with the same crap. And Stephen A gonna be like, remember what I told you? Don't do that on your podcast. Don't bring that over here. So we gonna see. I'm not mad that he on there. I just know when the topic of Shador come up, I'm gonna have to change the channel, come back. He can't help himself. Why you think I said he like a crackhead? He can't help himself. I'm serious. He can't help it. It's like as soon as Shador come up, he just gonna go off the rails. And Peggy gotta, hey, come back this way. Come back this way. Never seen anything just like it. Never seen anything like it. It's that on the low Cam Newton is jealous of Shador. I mean, that's obvious. I'm like, that's he shows you that jealousy can ruin things for you. So this is his second opportunity because Shannon got in trouble. So if Shannon get redeemed and he keep up with the Shador foolishness, he gonna be kicked off right off again. And yes, it's a multi-year contract, but they're gonna figure out some way to do it. It said Juju ain't going nowhere. His dad is cool with Prime, and he had a plan the year early for. Yeah, I don't think he should be. I don't think that's the case. But again, if that's what it is, that's what it is, right? And that's how I feel. And I think really playing at CU is a privilege. I think it's the best place for Juju a year, and he gonna get in the games, right? We know this, right? Like when we play Delaware, come on now. If we actually, barring the fact that we get the score, we don't want to be all, arrogant like that Stanford game. Is that what it was? We don't want to do that. So let's just say it's like that, right? And we keep our foot on the gas. He gonna be in that game. And his father knows that. His father knows that. So it said Arenas is married to Melly Monaco. That's her name. That's her name. I saw them. They went on a date or something. I was like, I didn't know they were married. I didn't know they were married. Okay, good for them. That might be one of the sports couples I talk about on Bay. What She Said Sports Bay, where love, sports, and relationships intersect. Could have talked about Travis like that today, but it was last minute, so I didn't have time. I was subbed to her years before she met Gilbert. She's talented and funny. Yeah, she is. Hey, Mr. Irv, salute, salute, salute. It said Baylor is Big 12. We root for them against Auburn. Okay, so we do root for Baylor when they play Auburn. Okay, because I might watch that game. Okay. I said I was gonna watch Ohio State and Texas, but I'm probably gonna be multitasking. So we'll see. We'll see. But we know Friday we live, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after members only podcast where we get together behind closed doors at 6 p.m. So we're going to do like 6 to 7 so I can get ready for the game at 8. Kevin Stefanski's body language was speaking. Yeah. Guy versus Kevin Stefanski. Just understand that's where we at. Give it a couple of weeks. Just a couple of weeks. Might not even need that long. It said, Cam has a lot of feminine energy. I can't stand him. He what? It said he forgets how he behaved after the Super Bowl. I just don't understand how when you in the same situation as another black quarterback, like he trashed Bryce Young, right? I was like, now how you gonna sit up here and throw that man under the bus when you played for Carolina and they did you dirty? You know what it's like? It's like he want to block out his QB experience. He wants to block out the fact that his career ended early. He wants to block out the fact that they treated him like they treated Shador, like they treated Bryce Young, like he's somehow different in his NFL experience. He's not. He's not. He get ready to go on tour and tell his Auburn story, one of one. And I don't have an issue with his marketing and all of that. I think that's great, right? I'm all for these guys to walk away from the NFL and start doing their own thing. So he's doing the right thing. I applaud him. Went to his 7v7 tournament 2.5 hours from Atlanta. So I applaud him for all that he's doing and turning an NFL career, a legacy into entrepreneurship that can further his whatever he got going on. But I do not like that you were a quarterback and was trashed by your team after Bounty Gate and after you took them people to the Super Bowl and they dished you like that. The same way they dissed Bryce Young, the same way they dissed Shador, and you act like you're different. They dissed you too, and you need to get that through your thick skull. They dissed the three of y'all all the same because y'all all black, and they didn't want y'all to be leading their teams. So stop putting down Bryce Young and Shador because you think you better. You in the same boat that they in, abused as a black quarterback in the NFL. So if he ever stop by here, he'll get it. But he gotta stop that, bro. Like, it's sick. It's just sick. It says, sorry, I have no love for Cam. See, he making enemies. I mean, when your girl gotta tell you, don't you think you kind of being hard on Shador? Like, bro, just stop, right? And that's why Peggy instantly start reining him in. So it tell you they're not playing good cop, bad cop. Peggy know to get him off the ledge before he go off the cliff. Like, you just got back to ESPN and you already with the BS again. It said people, real feelings always show up the more they talk, right? Cam hasn't been doing a good job of hiding the envy and jealousy despite speaking fast. You can just see it getting ready to happen. It's like, let me just turn the channel and come back. Or I just move on. Just move on. Because, he gonna find a way to get to it. It says Shador gonna be Cam first target. It said Cam Newton is a weirdo. He dresses up. Yeah, his style, I don't hate him for his style. I just want to say. And he got 1-800 Better Help as a sponsor. I'm like, you need to call. Better Help as a sponsor on his the show where he do the sit down like Shannon Sharp, which I think that's great. But you need to call. You need to call and ask people, why is it you so triggered when anybody say Shador Sanders? You just start foaming at the mouth. Like, stop. It's something wrong with that, right? It's something really wrong with that. Call them people. Call them. Just call them. Maybe they help you out. Give you some free sessions or something. Jesus. Like, stop. It said, and always showing off his cross legs. When he be sitting there in his chair. Yeah. I mean, he's so funny. I like him, but I just can't do it sometimes. I don't know how Peggy do it. It must be for the money, must be the money. It must be the money. Because I know he get on his nerves. I'm like, Cam, you really out here acting like you all of that. Just chill, just chill. Just chill out. Just chill out. It's that about to bust the stitches. Yeah. He loved them leggings, right? He loved those leggings. It said Cam wouldn't go in on the white players. No, he does not. He does not. And that's how you know. And you know what? To say he from Atlanta and he try to act out on street. It's giving suburban fraud. It just really is. Because, living in Atlanta street, the street dudes, they street. Right? It ain't no turning back, right? They street. They got podcasts too, right? They have podcasts. They talk about street stuff. And, the point is, I don't see Cam, who acts like he hard. I'm from Atlanta, talks about it all the time. And when it comes to the subject of football, though, that's where he switch up a little bit. That's where I feel like he go to the HBCUs, right? He did it last year. And they're going to have him go again to Norfolk State, right? And he didn't go to an HBCU, but he is from Atlanta, so he should be able to relate. And I just kind of feel like he should be in his element, right? But when he talks about the black quarterbacks, it's like he don't have any like, he feel like he can't relate to them, but he in the same situation they're in, right? And you didn't go to a HBCU, you went to Auburn, right? And it's not a HBCU. And you feel like you can relate enough to lead a HBCU tour for ESPN. And he does a good job, right? But when it comes to the black quarterbacks, you should be able to relate to them. The way you relate to these HBCUs, because you're black and you're from Atlanta, which is, black city, you should be able to relate to these black quarterbacks like Shedeur and Bryce. I mean, he can't do it. It's like he can't do it. And I think he don't want to accept the fact that what they did to him, they did to Bryce Young, they did to Shedeur. He wants to see and act like he was somehow different. And maybe he thinks he was different. Maybe he refuses to accept the fact that they was racist against him too. Bountygate, he was the target. I never heard anybody say anybody else was the target, but like Baker Mayfield or anybody before Baker Mayfield, right? Or Trevor Lawrence. So or anybody, I don't know. But he act like he can't relate. He act like he don't have no empathy for the black quarterbacks that experience what he experienced, because it seems like he in denial about his NFL experience as a black quarterback. That's what I think it is. So it said Cam wouldn't go in on white. No, he would not. He would not. And I totally agree with you, Tina. I totally agree with you. But to be right, they will not get rid of Dylan. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It said, did you hear somebody comments on UCSS regarding Shedeur and his powering up for the 2-minute drill? I didn't. What did they say? On what? On Aditi? Who is that? On UCSS? I don't know what that is. Oh, are you talking about that Cleveland show? Yeah, I don't watch no Cleveland people. I did at first, but not that show. I watched some people that were on that show. No, because here's what's happening, right? It's like some Cleveland people are defending Cleveland because we trying to hold them accountable. They have absolutely no reason to defend the Cleveland Browns, but because they keep calling us Shedeur Sanders fans, or now the black fans. Now we're the black fans this week. So that the black fans are holding the Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, accountable. They want to defend the Cleveland Browns. See, that's what I was telling y'all. When Deshaun Kaiser went 0-15 and they kept showing up, what did I say? So what are y'all showing up for? Are you showing up to relish that a black man who dares to be a black quarterback is being trashed week after week, going 0-15, left to be humiliated? Well, now when you see that they don't want us to come and cheer for the Browns because we cheer for Shedeur, we're not cheering for the Browns. I've heard it said that Carson Schwarzenegger is playing for Cleveland as if Shedeur's not playing for Cleveland. I think they're racist. That's the only explanation. I think they're racist. Not all of them, but the ones you hear about, I think they're racist. I think they took pleasure in watching Deshaun Kaiser go 0-15. They take pleasure in kicking on Deshaun Watson, and they don't ever talk about Justin Tucker. They don't ever even try to understand why it is Deshaun Watson got every dime of his money back. And there's one podcast that says the Texans paid the money. On that channel, Football Explainer, it says the Texans paid the money. See, we don't really know who paid, do we? But they don't want to understand that. It's like that's why they got players like Isaiah Bond. That's why they got Quinshon Judkins, who was supposed to be working out his contract. Of course he's gonna work it out. Hell, I think they worked it out for him. See, to get where he is. Isaiah Bond too. Because we all know Barry likes a fire sale. He likes vulnerable people. And no, he didn't get Shedeur, who was vulnerable. He didn't have that authority to go over these billionaires, because how can I get him and he's vulnerable and I get him for cheap, but I'm going to let Stefanski try to ruin his stock? No. He just had to process the transaction after 47 came through. So it seems to me that their fans, too many of them, that likely live in the towns like Strongville or used to be the sundown towns, but are now 86% white, where only black people get stock for the most part. 6 times out of 10. That's who they fans are. That's why they're moving out to Brook Park, which is surrounded by these former sundown towns. That's who they want to be. That's who they are. And that's why that one guy was saying, well, it's the wrong reason to come if you're a Shedeur Sanders fan. And I told y'all, I think they don't want no new fans. They don't. They like their little secret. They like the fact that they showing up by the 60,000s to root against a black QB, to trash Shedeur Sanders, to trash Deshaun Watson, to say that Huntley is just a backup. That's what they showing up for. Let's see if they stay home, right? They feel like the majority of their fans have the same mindset as they do. And now they're starting the whole flag football thing, right? Go look at the page and look at who on it. They trying to create a white utopia up there in Cleveland. That's what they trying to do. And they don't want Shedeur Sanders to be the face. That's why they got Mason Graham. That's why they got Carson Schlesinger. So people that look like them could come out and buy the tickets. And not just look like them, but have their same ideology. That's why they probably not going to boycott like you think. But let's see if they do. Remember, these teams care about season ticket holders, not people who going to show up every now and then. Cam wants to be back on the field, but he hates anyone with more popularity than him. And I agree. I think if they asked him to come back, he would. But he's not being honest about his time and how he was treated. He's not being honest that his situation with Shedeur is no different than his. If he thought they hated Shedeur, they hated you too. Because I know they hated him. I remember hearing the rhetoric. And I didn't even follow them. It was that loud. And I was not in Georgia. So, you know, my thing is with Cam is, I think he is slightly in delusion and not, I think he's in denial about his NFL existence. I really do. And how people really look at him from the Carolina standpoint. They like him now, but when he was in the league, he got a lot of flack. And the organization clearly didn't care for him. He is no different than what Shedeur is going through. He should be able to relate. He should be an unk, but nope, he's signing up to be a hater. Cam is like, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fastest man of all? Me, right? Left which comes in and out. Okay, because I know I didn't see him consistently. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It says Shedeur had no chance in that game. He probably realized Stefanski was setting him up while he was playing the game. Here's what I know he realized, that the O-line was setting him up and it was coming back to be flashback, and that's what they wanted it to be. That's why I said, I think that that's very, I feel like it's like, you got to look that way now. After the Rams game, you got to look within. You got to look within and know that it's something more than we used to work together. Oh, no, we might have used to meet together. Might used to go to meeting together, but it ain't just a work relationship. The same situation, the same context, same sack, same number of times, the same way. Nah. It said left which is there. It said Dukes, it said that Juju gets plenty of first team reps. Yeah, I think we're good there. I think we're good there. Juju's a good kid. Donated $5 million in Georgia for the homeless, build apartments for them. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. But I feel like that if anybody want to walk, it is what it is. But I like him and I think he knows, right? I think, you know, he says he has a great relationship with Kaidon. So I think he knows, you know, you're going to get in there and he know he got to be ready. So what I like about what Coach Prime is doing is, you know, I'm not going to tell you off the hook for being ready. I want you to be ready too. I mean, anything could happen, right? Anything could happen. Stefanski is the ex who is partying with the goods and the bad boys. Yep. Something like that. Yeah, I agree. It said Cam dresses like Curious George. I remember Curious George. I remember Curious George. Always enjoy your content. A sister who will always keep it real. See you win on Friday. Yay, Crowley. Drop your score prediction for CU in the chat. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, I think that we good to go for Friday. My prediction 41-38. I saved our predictions from the last podcast. I screenshot them all. We probably going to share. Let me see if I can share them so y'all could kind of see. I have 3 screenshots, but I'm going to share one. That way, if y'all want to update, I put a post out. Y'all can go over there and update it because we're going to check that on game day. And then we're getting ready to wrap it up, but I want to share this too. Here it is right here. All right. So this was some of y'all predictions. Let's see. All right. It says 28-14, Life in Florida. Kaidon Salter, 22 said 38-21. Okay. Because that Colorado defense may shut down Georgia Tech. I think a lot of people are expecting that. And it says K Salter, CU 38, Georgia Tech 14. Okay. All right. A lot of people believe CU defense going to show on up here. Okay. All right. So that's some of what y'all were saying. I have the other 2. We'll keep it and look at it when we go through on game day. So that's why I decided to screenshot. Okay. So I changed mine. I went to 41-38 because why? We have a high flying wide receiver room. I know I read their weakness is downfield, and we know we got the receivers. I think we're going to see Sincere Brown. I think that brother right there, some people say he does play like Randy Moss, and that's a good thing, right? And I remember watching a game with Kaidon Salter versus Sincere Brown when they were at Liberty and another school, wherever Sincere went to school, those 2 schools played each other. So now they're playing on the same field with CU. The chemistry's there, right? So it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game, but CU gonna win. It's just a matter of by how many points. It's just a matter by how many points because I do expect CU to win the game. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get out of here and we're gonna close out with Travis Hunter on the screen. I thought this was a nice photo. With Travis Hunter on the screen, he'll be back. So if you plan on watching the Jaguars, we'll check the schedule and see where everybody is. Shiloh is the 9th person, the 10th person, the only one person that has not been re-signed. So I'll be listening for that tomorrow. We'll be back during the day. Checking in with CU, checking in with Shiloh, checking in with Shador. That's going to be ever evolving situation, right? And again, it's God on behalf of Shador versus Kevin Stefanski. So stay tuned, and we'll be back tomorrow. But I just want to close out and congratulations to Travis and Leanna on their baby boy. Travis got the family he wanted, right? So we want to be happy for him. And for those of you that feel some type of way, remember you have to start over with people sometime, and this is a good time to start over, right? All right, so we're gonna say good night, everybody. This was awesome. Thank you so much. It looks like Shiloh got picked up by the Steelers. Okay, well, let me check right fast because I checked before we started. Maybe it happened. Let's see. Shiloh Sanders news. Thank you, Juanita. Okay, Shiloh Sanders. No, I don't think so. If so, it has not been announced. 8 hours ago. It said Shiloh Sanders' NFL career gets big update after Buccaneers release. Let's take a look. 8 hours ago. Shiloh Sanders was released from the Bucs. After he went unclaimed on waivers, Shiloh Sanders is considered an unrestricted free agent and will look to sign to another NFL practice squad. Wow, they already got him relegated to the practice squad. He went unclaimed on waivers. That's the news. So no, he has not been picked up yet. Maybe tomorrow. Why are you relegating him to the practice squad? Is that the only option or something? Because there's a lot of teams out here with 3 and 4 open spots on receivers. The 3rd and 4th on the depth chart are still open. So I hate when they do that. I hate when they just take certain players and this the best you could do is the practice squad. So anyway, we'll just check tomorrow and we'll see what it is. Again, as far as I know, Shiloh has not been picked up. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll check. We'll stay on top of it. I'll check before we go live. Of course, I'll schedule the live and I'll check again before we go live and see what happens. Congratulations to everybody that got picked up that's on a practice squad. They probably happy that they get another opportunity to develop. Y'all know what I want to do. I want to see them stream. I want Big Headache Game CEO Shiloh Sanders to start his own 11-on-11 game and stream it. That's what I want. So if he don't get picked up, then that's what I want to happen. That's what I want to happen anyway. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see y'all later, okay? We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Have a good night. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.